Revelation 2424. From the 28th of July 1942. God opposing forces. God's intervention. The God-opposing forces are extraordinarily active in poisoning people's thinking and distracting them from God, from recognizing the truth, and this is the cause of the battle of annihilation they wage against each other. They will stop at nothing and have no qualms about handing themselves over to these forces through their cooperation or even consent in this battle of destruction, and they are completely taken over by these forces, and whatever they tell people to do they willingly carry out. And thus the evil power itself works through people who hand themselves over to it through their way of life, through their attitude and their actions. This is synonymous with spiritual decline, with the uselessness of earthly life, with the death of the soul. And the adversary wins soul after soul as soon as he wins people for his shameful plans, and he uses their inclination towards matter, their greed for earthly possessions, in such a way that they completely fall prey to him, that they only strive for earthly goods and lose their souls for their sake, that they sell their souls in order to enrich themselves with transient, worthless possessions. And this is the time when God puts a stop to the work of the adversary. What people do not shy away from he forcefully makes clear to them by affecting them himself, by seemingly favoring the activity of the one who strives for destruction. However, he wrings the power out of his adversary's hands. It is no longer up to people to carry out the work of destruction as before, but God himself intervenes destructively by virtue of his will and his power. And people cannot resist his will, they cannot prevent him and must helplessly submit to God himself taking the reins and world events now taking their course in accordance with his divine will. What people themselves carried out before will now happen without their participation and cannot be ended by human will but will have to be endured by them until God himself ends it. And now the adversary's activity and the divine power will be revealed. Anyone who recognizes the latter in the events is not yet completely lost, even though he will be severely affected. For anyone who seeks to find the explanation of every event in God and his will also live his earthly life accordingly and use it for the benefit of his soul. But anyone who does not recognize God's arm in it will only see earthly decay, he will only look at earthly destruction with a worldly eye, and he can no longer be offered spiritual salvation. He is still completely captivated by matter and only views all worldly events from the point of view of the loser or the winner. He has fallen prey to evil power and the demon has taken possession of him and his soul. Amen.